Don't you want to make this or this better? Then look no further. I'm going to show you what all the cool kids are doing nowadays. From this to this. Let's hop on Tinkercad. Not sponsored. One of the best and easiest way to edit any sort of 3D model fast. The turbocharging handle, from an idea to a small design, simple edits. So here's the screen that we will be prompted with once we are creating our new design in Tinkercad. I've already went ahead and named it YouTube example. These are going to be our simple tools here, which I will go over in just a sec. And I was kind of thinking what I want to show you guys for an example, and here's something small. This is a Airsoft gun part right here, and it's actually going to be really easy to print this and even easier to edit this. It's made by Permafrost. I will put the link in the description. But we're going to start by going ahead and looking for the thing files here, and you could look up anything on Thingiverse. They have so much stuff. So we want the model with the neck. So the neck is just this bottom extra part here. So I'm going to go ahead and download that. And next thing we're going to do is open it up and import it in here. But before we do that, what is it that I want to edit on here? Is it the bolt pattern right here? Is it the zigzags? Is it the mount? Nope. I want to put something extra at the top here. So what we're going to be doing, practicing here, is just welding two pieces together in Tinkercad. Jinos' eBay store is a one-stop shop, especially if you guys are shopping for TPU or PETG, as they have many colors to choose from, all in one cart. So we got this cool little turbo here. It's a little keychain thing made by Tubby. And same thing, we're just going to go ahead and download this file. It looks just about the same size as the charging handle, so not a lot of rescaling is going to need to be done. But next thing I'm going to do is show you guys both of them on the plate itself. So once you've downloaded an STL from Thingiverse, you could just come straight into Tinkercad and press import. And you can either drag it in here or you could choose the file yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and get these in here. Here they are. We have both models. You could see kind of some iffy things going on here on this model and this one, but luckily none of this is going to show because all of them are smaller than the nozzle size that I'm going to be printing with. This is larger than this, so we're going to try to scale that down first. But immediately, just as a new person, you know, trying to do Tinkercad stuff, right here, your dimensions come up. So 18 by 18. This is in millimeters. If you go to edit grid, you can change it to whatever you want, but you know, every sane person is going to be working with millimeters. And right here is your height, 30 millimeters. And if you drag away from the item and just click it, you can move it around anywhere. But sometimes it does accidentally happen where you click on one of these boxes to make it smaller or larger and you end up moving it incorrectly. No worries, because you could bring this back. Just press Control Z, and there you are. So our next thing is going to be getting into doing these tools. Let's get into the tools of Tinkercad. So this is my finished model, and I'm going to show you guys how to turn this into this. But first of all, let's go over the first tool that we're going to be using. This Go Away tool. This is a hide selected tool. Control H, poof, that's it. Now this is free real estate. And we can do whatever we want here. What is this box that I selected though? This is kind of like an eraser box. So you can see here, if I were to highlight both of these and drag over them, and as also group them, surprise, half the turbo is no more. It is now just a turb. So our goal here is to try to get rid of this, because this is going to be this little nub here. That's actually the keychain thing. We want to get rid of that. Now we could just take this box, you know, it's already nice and axised towards whatever this is, and we could group these, but that isn't really going to make it that clean, and we want something that's nice. We could use one of the various angle tools here, and if you use the angle within the dial, it won't be fine movements. It'll be within, I believe, 15 degrees. But if you move your mouse further away, you can have more minute adjustments. And of course, there's one for every axis. So that one, this one, and then there's this one here as well. Isn't this a great website? Aren't I a great tutor? Anyway, let Jinos know by buying filament from them. This here is called the work plane. So our work plane is this flat, nice surface. It's safe right now because it's flat, just like what we know. Oh, what is this that I'm clicking over to the left? this is your view box. So let's say we want to look at it from the front of the build plate. So if we were to export this and put it onto our Cura build plate, it's going to be in this orientation. So that's why this is called the front. Now, if we go up, we'll see the top, and if we go down, we'll see the bottom. But lucky for you, you're probably never going to use that, just like me. Continuing on to the work plane again, though, this turns your work plane anywhere. So, for example, let's find the angle that if we were to drop the box on, it would make this model the cleanest. So now our work plane has completely shifted from like normal flat to making this the new normal flat. And we're going to use our little eraser box here. Just drag over. You could already tell that once it gets dark, it's gonna take all that up. Now let's group these and show you why it's not gonna work out too swell. We still have a kind of a nub there. So let's go back all the way back to the beginning. So we click on our work plane again and put it on somewhat normal level. And there we go. Let's ungroup this, get rid of this box. And what is the best way to do this now? Well, I just chose a crappy angle to do it. Why? Just to show you guys that on this model, there's so many little angles. Comparing this to this is going to make a big difference. And let me show you guys now. There we go. Let's try this one. This one looks actually worse. So we're don't going to do that. Anybody learning English, don't watch my videos because I like to have fun. This is also bad. So what happens when you are out of luck on this type of situation? Well, let's go back to doing it the medieval way. And by the medieval way, I mean the way that I was initially going to show you. But why did I show you the other way as well? So you guys know all your options that exist later on when you're not watching my video, or when you come back to fulfill my 4,000 view hours so I can finally get monetized and then demonetized for some other dumb reason. Right about now is when you're like, damn, this guy knows what he's doing, kind of. Let's see if he actually gets this right. And I do, but I want to go a little bit more closer with this box. You could use your arrow keys to make, one-axis adjustments and movements. But if I were to go here, it would be too much. And then if I go here, it's too little. Guess what? Come down to Edit Grid, and here you could see where you could make differences in millimeters, inches, or bricks. Now, I'm going to keep it on millimeters, but if we go one under, right here where it says Edit Grid, we'll go to Off. So we're going to make it to, when we go left or right, it goes in its smallest movement. See, now you could barely even tell that the box is moving. Or if I want to move it 0.1 millimeter at a time, every time I click the arrow, we just click 0.1. Now, I think if we were to have a finer angle here, we would do a lot better with this design, and that does prove to be true. So let's continue to give some more angle. Let's bring it down, and let's use our arrow keys to make the smallest of movements. And there's a point where you're just going to be like, okay, this is good because this is kind of donut shaped and we're never really going to get a box to perfectly wrap around it. And since our piece is so small, wow, that looks perfect. Now, this won't have any trouble printing because it's going to be a low angle of overhang, actually. Let's bring back that part that we skedaddled earlier. Remember, click this hide icon, but now it's the show icon, and there it is. And here's the same exact turbocharger. But how do we make this the size of this? Well, pull out your calculator, ladies and gentlemen, because we're going to be doing some math. You want to start by halving your model. Halving it by all the sizes. Don't forget to half it by the height as well, or else you're going to have something that looks like this. Look at this. Now it's like a vase or something. It's not even a turbo anymore. Damn, that's a big one. All right, so we've done our first trim on our part right here, and this is okay, like I said, because of the overhang. Now we got to make it proportionate to this part, or at least we got to make it seat nicely to this part. So this is 18 millimeters. Let's see what this turns out to be when we half its size. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So 44.9 is going to turn into 22.5. I just rounded it to 49. That's why. 33.61 is going to turn into, let's see, 16.8, and our height is off. Our height is 17.75, so if we were to round everything, it would be 8.88, carrying the 5. Also, next thing that we can do here is putting them both together. Now, how did I do that? Must be witchcraft for you guys. You highlight both your pieces, and there's this tool called Align. If you press L, it'll just bring up the options for you. And you can see we don't have dimensions anymore. We have these little dots. So if I press this dot here, they're going to align in this axis. If I press this dot here, they're going to align in this axis. And this is the Z axis. So if I were to press this in the middle, now these parts are in the true middle of each other. But we have a new problem. This turbo here is not proportionate to its size. So for example, our round part that we want to mount is on more to the right. So if we were to take the middle of this entire piece, it wouldn't really work out that good. So we're going to keep this axis straight because this is perfect to the entire piece itself. And the next axis, we're just going to look with our eyes and see when it really just becomes, you know, acceptable for us, because this is so small. It's not going to really show up if we don't do too swell of a job. This is just to learn about taking two items that you know, semi-like and make something that you really love. And the reason why I sunk this just now is so while printing, we have A, less time, B, a stronger print, and C, I forgot about C, but this is why we're doing it anyway. Last thing that's left after your part looks okay to you is to highlight them all, and you could press G again, and this is going to group all of these together. Grouping is pretty much just like welding things together, and here we'll see a lot better the little defects, like these little lines running through it, which you will see again, but you're not going to actually see in your print. So this is the best part about it. Now let's take this out from here and let's make it a physical item. So just click on the part you want. Make sure you click on the part you want. And to be safe, just move it around. Make sure that they are welded together, because you can see that this is now one piece instead of two. And go over to export. Now you have a couple options here, either OBJ or STL as far as making it into a 3D printer file. So let's go with STL here. And I'm actually going to double click on it and it's going to open it up for me. You can see we made one earlier. I just wanted to show it again. Finally, at the final stage, guys, we have our charging handle mixed with our turbo right now. So we're going to press slice. We got all our favorite settings on here. Let's see what is about to happen. Do we need supports for this, or will we get away with it? Let's go to preview and see how our parts are meshed together. You can see we don't have any weird, ugly, disgusting lines now, luckily. All these whites are just going to be the blemishes, which is going to be somewhere where it's not going to show up too much. So let's go down. We got some nice waves here. This is a cool design. It registers within the lines and stuff. That's the infill. And this looks very, very acceptable. Very acceptable. Now, let's see. That's going to be odd. These first couple waves being printed. That's going to be kind of saggy. I can already tell, but it's going to be good. It should work anyway. Let's see how our turbos... Yeah, that's... I doubt that this will print, but is it worth having a support? You know, is it really? I don't think so. You can see this came out, comparing it with our actual model. This is very, very clean right here. Let's go to our Tinkercad. You can see the inside of this, the intake for the turbo is actually pretty messy. And this is actually really, really cool because most of you guys are probably going to be new to this. And this is going to be a really good thing for you guys because you guys might make a little error here or error there. I'm pretty sure I made an error in this video, but you guys can feel free to point it out. I'll go ahead and change it up a little later. But this is that little end where we first trimmed or shaved off, and no printer should have any problem making that. So that's going to come out really good, and I'm going to actually show you guys this thing. Here it is, the turbo charging handle. From an idea to a small design, simple edits. You know, we could see our little piece right there that we cut off a little earlier. 0.2 millimeter layer height on this, 50 millimeters a second. No supports, but still very clean. Could clearly tell that that's a turbocharger, and you can clearly tell that this is a turbocharging handle. This here is my HPA end. This is the part that goes on my functioning weapon, pretty much, for airsoft. And we're using carbon fiber PLA from Jinos, which links for everything will be down in the description below. I print it just like normal PLA, just a little bit hotter. So instead of 200 degrees Celsius, 205 degrees Celsius, because we want that added strength to our prints, because these are also going to be both functioning items. So that said, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one. And if you need anything, make sure you ask Jinos for any sort of filament needs.